Well, hello and happy Tuesday, diary listeners. This week, I am calling this diary episode ADD because, or as Rico would say, da. I'm calling it that because it's really kicked my butt this week. Welcome to the Apprenticeship Diaries, where raw meets refined.
Let's be real, we're still working on refining.
What it took, what it takes, and the stories that are made.
Join us as we learn from professionals about how their stories began.
I don't plan on making this diary episode too long. I just want to do some gratitude and some shout outs. So first things first, I really want to thank Gunnar for his time in the 2-part series that he put forth to this podcast. I'm just so grateful, Gunnar. Dude, and Instagram. I want to thank Instagram because, or at least the people who created the feature to collaborate, because without that, I don't think I would have gotten the opportunity to reach more people that otherwise didn't know about the podcast. And Gunnar was a big part of that, and I'm just so epically grateful. I'm kind of overwhelmed by it. There was a lot of people who started following the show and gained some interest. So Gunnar, you if that says anything about who you are in the community and how people see you, and if you need a reflection of your importance to others, your ability to bring people and attention to this wee podcast is just, it's notable. And I think I got the most likes on the images that I have ever gotten because of your collaboration with me on that. And I am so grateful. It's so cool. And, anybody who comes on the show, I'm just so thankful that now we have that feature on Instagram where we can collaborate, because I plan on doing that more and more. This is something I'm learning as I am assisting the Paradise Tattoo Gathering in their promotionals. I've been dipping into the world of video editing. I have been for a really long time, but I've moved off of Premiere Pro and I'm using CapCut now. If you're at all following, and I hope you are, the Paradise Tattoo Gathering, their Instagram, and checking in on their website and all the cool things that are running through there, and the great lineup that's coming this October. That would be October 24th through the 27th. Then you know that there's been videos. We've been playing with the look. We've been trying to utilize a little bit more of the social media perks to our favor, and I'm one of the people behind that, and it's been pretty cool. I wish I was quicker with it and more capable of doing it faster and getting to everything faster, but I've learned a lot, and that's super fun. And I also have just so much gratitude to Gabe and to Jake Meeks and Dan. Dan, what is your last name? It starts with a P and it's long, and I think if I look at it, I might be able to know what it is. Let's see. Dave Pushkarich. I know I'm brutalizing that, but Dan has been so great. Everybody, because this is the Apprenticeship Diaries, know that Dan is an apprentice, a tattoo apprentice, so let's send him love and all the strength he needs to get through these hard times, these very, very, formidable years in his career. I look forward to seeing him at Paradise and catching up with him when we all have basically been behind the scenes, like trying to do the best that we can do in the capacities we have to help this event and make it as big as it can be, improve from last year, although last year was freaking phenomenal. As always, I'm grateful to Paradise. That's just goes without saying. Let's see. ADD. I am sitting here right now. I just wanted to share this with you guys. I have a chocolate cake that is cooling, and it's it's a product of the ADD. So as you guys well know, I tried the carnivore diet, and it went down in a ball of flames because I hit my time of the month, and I was desperate. Like, I was desperate for something other than meat. And I was told that it could happen, especially, since I kind of just went, completely, into it with, like I just cut out everything, and I didn't work myself down to that. I wasn't exercising. I wasn't doing anything, and I wasn't meal prepping. So I got really desperate, and I just wanted chocolate. Every cycle that I have, it has that, especially as I've gotten older. I don't know what's up. My mom said when she started getting menopausal that her thing was chocolate milk. Like, it was not just chocolate, but it was like cream and chocolate. Which, the whole point of the diet is, obviously I wouldn't mind weight loss, but truly it's anti-inflammation that I'm going for. So, going back to this chocolate cake, I am experimenting with something that I saw on Facebook. It was this random video that I came across. Again, ADD, doom scrolling, looking at animal videos, sharing my unsolicited opinions and advice on social media, because I just don't have a grasp of when to detach. I'm getting there, folks. I'm trying, I find it fun. Anyway, ADD. I found this recipe that I'm trying out where it's apples. It's just apples. I put a little water in it because it didn't seem like it was gonna blend. Apples, an egg, a little baking powder, and then cocoa powder. And then you can put like chocolate chips on top if you just want like a little extra. But I'm waiting for it to cool to try it out. So that's in the background. Out of nowhere this morning, I was like, I'm going to try that cake thing. Like, I'm just going to do it. The whole video is like, I eat chocolate cake every day. And the guy's like, nuh-uh. And then sees the recipe and is like, no, that can't work. And then he did it. And his video was pretty hard to believe because of how he goes about putting it all together. But you get the gist, and I've seen other videos that, espouse the same recipe, so I'm really hoping that this will be good. I hope to, when this finally cools enough, try it as I'm recording and give you guys an honest report. If nothing else, you'll know that this is a cool kind of keto-ish thing that you can do. It does have chocolate chips on it, so it's not completely keto. These are manufactured chocolate chips that do have sugar in them, so it's not completely devoid, but baby steps. So I'm gonna try that out. Let's see. In the background, I have been discussing some things that are pretty exciting with clients who, I'm just so grateful to them. And there's one specifically that really took the time to go over with me my qualities in ways outside of tattooing. And I don't want anybody to get scared because I don't want to walk away from tattooing. I'm feeling pulled away from it for a lot of reasons, mostly because I do have boundaries and standards now that I need to be adhered to. And they are not negotiable, mostly because I know that it's for quality control for everyone and everything involved. And it's been hard. It's been hard to return to something that was, when I started, so much so, when I first started, it was like the Wild West. And it was like, what the hell? And there was so much that didn't make any sense. And there was so much I didn't care made sense. It was just like, whatever, man. I'm here to like do my art for a living. And I had this whole, very youthful idea of what anything would be. And no real regard for what could happen to me. And I think that's pretty typical in youth. Now I'm older, and the price of my actions hit me far harder now than they ever did in every way. I just got done talking about food and all of that, and my need for control there, my physicality. These things are are probably for the next 10 years, are probably the best they can ever hope to be before they start to seriously just naturally decline. And so and that's what you feel, honestly. It's not, for me, it wasn't a midlife crisis. It was more recognition that time matters. How we use our time matters. What choices we make matter. And we gotta be wise about that. So I've had some things, I'm not talking about them because, my God, guys, I gotta get better at just zipping it and not trying to do so much and really just playing in silence until I know it's something worth announcing. So I'm really just going to do that. I am trying to still do some artwork that is not tattooing, to diversify. I mean, that kind of stuff, like I was talking with Gunnar, is something that I feel like is really calling to me and necessary for me to feel powerful, I guess, or connected to what I say and what I know I'm capable of. Because if I don't drill those things or do those things, then you lose perspective about where you are within all of them. And I don't want that, so I really do want to put my hands tangibly, not through an iPad or anything like that, to real media, real things that I can truly say, like, hey, I did that. Half the time I don't even know how I do it, but, I can say I did that. So that I want to do, and that I am still doing. I'm also, let's see, I just want to fill you guys in. I just want to let you know what's happening, what has been happening. Oh, this is a big one. So in passing, some people said that they completely missed it. But in passing, I talked about getting married. I am moving through that right now. So I wanted to share a little bit of that journey with y'all so that you kind of understand how I'm approaching it anyway, from the place that I'm approaching it from. And hopefully I can share this podcast with anyone that I'm not going to invite to the wedding, which is a lot of people. And I'm sorry. I'm going to say it right away. I'm sorry. It does not mean that I don't love you. It does not mean that I don't ask of you to be happy for me, to be supportive of the relationship, to convict me of the things that I'm going to say and do on wedding day, and to hold both myself and my significant other, Rico, accountable for the things that we are doing. I want all of that. And in lieu of any kind of gift, because I have a lot of stuff, physical stuff, I don't need wedding presents. I don't need any of that. You know, I'm going to be 43 this year. This is late stage for me. You know, like this is hitting it after a lot of trial and error. So what we have been doing is, first, I had to feel like Rico was the guy. I felt like he was a person that I was connected to more than any other person I've ever been connected to. But there were some struggles that I had to get over that were me, and that were just natural things that, you know, people grapple with in their relationship, but I thought they were showstoppers, or at least I had to explore that for a while and feel it out. You know, because like I said, this is late in the game for me, folks, and I'm not one, you know, like it's either I move in the future with a partner or I don't, you know, like there's no negotiating, as I said, my boundaries at this point. They are well formulated and they are well vetted by time and letting all things, you know, be tested. So they are what they are, and it doesn't mean that I'm not gonna keep my heart open and my wonder and appreciate the fact that I don't know everything. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that the boundaries that I have, which I think are fairly reasonable, are not gonna be negotiated at this point. So I had to like come to that first. I'm just sending a text right now for Rico. So he left the house for a second, and I just wanted to make sure that he doesn't bust in and like start calling up the stairs after me. I mean, if he does, this is a raw podcast, so whatever, right? I just wanted to make sure that I let him know, because you know he my boo thing. And he is really great at accommodating me with all of my exploits. So anyway, I had to do that. And it was a lot of me. And usually I think that's what it is. You have trauma, you have insecurities that have come from a lifetime of just experiencing people and other relationships. And that's where it is. And so I had to fill that out. And then I came to the point where I was like, yup, I want to marry this man. This is what I want to do. And just to share something with people that, you know, is very personal, but I think it's essential to bring into the focus, because especially of modernity and how people have been living life and all the different things that they're expecting without making choices to really enforce those expectations. Before all of this, when I decided I wanted to get baptized, just baptized, I had told Rico that I wasn't going to live in sin anymore with our relationship, that we were not going to, the biblical term is fornicate. So no booty has been exchanged in our relationship for almost a year now. And I've had people criticize it. I've had people, you know, question it. Rico certainly has. He was like, what? You know, we've already done so. And I was like, well, be grateful that, you know what you're getting into. But the fact of the matter is that I don't owe you that in the current dynamic that we have now. And I don't want to do that anymore, because I now have a religious or faith-based conviction about it now. You know, my body is something that I need to, you know, and my actions need to align to what I actually believe and how I'm actually going to lead others now. And it matters. It matters deeply. And I don't want to be incoherent anymore. I've lived too much of my life that way. And I feel very good about that. Like it's a suffer for me too. Like, it's not like I don't feel, the want for those things. It's just simply that, I don't owe that to him just because, he says he's going to marry me. He says, he helps me out. I mean, that just makes him a friend, or that just makes him a roommate. That doesn't make him my life partner. And I really only want to engage in that activity with another person if they're going to vow to be my life partner. Because I'm tired, folks, of leveraging myself for others at this point. And I don't have to leverage that for anyone else. And I don't need anyone else for that if it really comes down to it. So that's a point. After that, and during that, I found out that we have to do marriage counseling, and we have done that now. We had 6 sessions, and they were really great. And, again, Rico, being a guy in this modern age, was like, what? Like, why do I have to do this? And my whole thing was basically, well, because I said so, and because I want a man who will slay dragons for me. And if you're not willing to do this, then I guess you're not willing to marry me, because this is what it's going to take to marry me. And at first it was like, man, why is this becoming so complicated? And I was like, because it is. Because life is. And in truth, I really don't think in terms of most women, I am making this that complicated. I'm making sure that we both are on the same page, and that we're both committed to the same things truly. Because I have been in long-term relationships where I thought we were, and it just never came together, and like years were spent. And I've watched couples not align in what they wanted together and what they could do for each other, and to lose love because of a lack of respect or resentment that they have always felt for each other. So I wanted those things prior. And I wanted somebody between us, our pastor, who could call us back to the one grounding point, the main spirit of it, which is God, and call us back to God if ever we need to, because that is the force that unifies us and that will be who we're committing this relationship to and vowing to. So yeah, we've done all that. Rico actually loved the counseling. I'm telling you guys about it because I was so praised by people in my church who were like, what? You guys are doing it. That's so great. Like, you have no idea what you're giving your relationship. It's so awesome. I mean, these are people who have been married and have like multiple children that are old enough and are married, who have their own children. These are people who have been married for like 50 years at our church. And, for them to say that to me just means a lot. So anybody who is not going to be invited to this wedding, which, like I said, is going to be many people, please know that this is the cornerstone to our relationship. Will be God principles, basically the structure of marriage outlined in the biblical sense. And we expect people to hold us to that. And, that's the gift you can give us, is that kind of leadership and support. Because really, when it comes down to the marriage at this point, it's bare bones, folks. Like, I don't even know how to do this. Like, I've never orchestrated this before. Never. I have everything in my life is something that I can procrastinate to, and in a lot of ways, I'm procrastinating with this even still. So I'm cutting corners that is making it very cheap. I'm feeling already really bad for the people that I am inviting because it's going to be such a bare bones event that I'm kind of sad for them. And, I don't know that because I don't know what will happen when the day comes, what I might not have to provide. But I can tell you right now, I'm sad for them already because I don't know. Like it's gonna be balling on a budget, and really just me and Rico taking vows and doing what we have to do in order to be seen by our church, ourselves, the commitment to ourselves, to fulfill something under God, and just that's it. And the few people we're inviting are really direct family members, or in my case, I'm inviting friends that have been with me through many trials. One of them I've known since I was 2. So, like, not many people can say they have that friend. And, honestly, instead of outside of like direct family, like my mom and dad and my brother and his wife and children, no one else of my family is coming. I don't think that it'll mix, and it's really kind of it's sad in a lot of ways, but I know it's supposed to be a day that Rico and I have for each other. And I know how my family is when all of them are stuck together and they just struggle with getting along. And I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. So those things I can manage after I'm wed and after I have time to move forward as a married woman and to celebrate with each person. I'll deal with the fallout if anybody's upset after my wedding. But the level of anxiety that it's giving me just planning to this point is something that I would rather feel the shrapnel of it after the day, after it's done, than during, or any time leading up to it. And I can't even imagine the women who have done this before, or the couples. I mean, Rico's now kind of hands off and kind of following, which is good because he did his duties. He did what I asked, but now it's something I got to plan and figure out. Okay, so this cake. Let me try this thing. Let's see how this is. It's I think cool enough. The texture's interesting. It's probably what you'd predict, having an apple mixed with cocoa powder and egg and baking powder. All right. It's good. All right. So, like the consistency. When I was vegan, not that this counts, I guess, because there's egg in here, but I can already say that I probably should have baked this a little longer because it's very moist. But in the time that I was vegan, applesauce was such a big connector for things in baking. Like, it was an important substitute for baking if you wanted to cut down on sugar and have a connecting agent, that and flaxseed. And what it does is preserve a lot of moisture. The chocolate chips, I think, really help. It probably wouldn't be that sweet without that. It's very warm and very chocolatey, which is good. Which is, the aim. And I'm sure that if I pursued a life with, more just meat and things like that, meat and just vegetables occasionally, that would be a very scrumptious treat. I'm not mad about that. I could see giving yourself that as a dessert. I don't know about every day, but because I don't think I'd need that every day. I don't really need dessert every day. I'm more a salty person. But yeah, that's not bad, folks. I recommend it. Like I said, it's 1 apple. I didn't take the skin off of it. That was another thing that I searched. So there were some recipes that say take the skin off, others just full apple. I've learned that, as long as you rinse it off and all that stuff and get all the junk off of it, you can use some vinegar to get the, like that wax off of it. That the skin is very vitamin rich. So I really didn't want to remove that because I didn't want to remove the vitamins. The guy who illustrated put the whole freaking apple. So he ground up the seeds too, which, it's a little bit of arsenic in there. Apple seeds are not necessarily great for you, but, if you wanted to make yourself more arsenic immune, I would say that that's probably a good way. Probably adds a nice dynamic contrast to everything, but I did cut the core out. 1 egg. A little bit, and this was just by eyeballing it, folks. I honestly think that it could have a little less cocoa powder in there too. I eyeballed the cocoa powder and the baking powder, which I suggest if you're going to do anything kamikaze like this, figure out how to eyeball it, because that's what makes it yours. You're going to be alternative. Go with it. Make choices and play and experiment. I mean, you'd only be sacrificing some cocoa powder, an egg, an apple, and some baking powder. It's not like you're throwing a whole bunch of stuff away if it doesn't work out. And chocolate chips if you're going to be like me. But they've been sitting in my cupboard for a while, so use them, right? All right. So this is now over a half hour. That's about what I wanted to talk. I'm going to eat the rest of my cake and not burden you guys with that and all my, masticating mouth noises. Next week, exciting. I had the pleasure of interviewing Jake Meeks about his apprenticeship journey and his start into tattooing. It's a wonderful 2-parter that we're going to put out. That'll start next week. I don't know what I'm going to call it, but it was a great time. Jake is such a fantastic person. Again, if you don't know Jake Meeks, please know him. His IG is Plug Ugly Art, which I don't know why it's that, because it's anything but maybe that's the point, to be ironic and cute. He definitely has a very humble persona in a lot of ways, so I think that might be just why. He is the lead podcaster on Fireside Tattoo Network, and he talks about some really exciting interviews that he's going to have on his show. Like Gunnar, I'm sure that this is going to, bring some attention to my podcast that is going to be just so, I'm going to be so grateful. I've gotten attention just by being on Fireside, by other tattoo artists being like, oh my God, you've been on there. The fact of the matter is that Jake is a very humble guy, and he really just cares about excellence and pushing for better, and he aligns himself with people like that, and it's very, very similar to how things were in college when I was surrounded, well, not even college, I mean more high school for me, because that was like my first like college experience in high school, because I went to a magnet program for art. and I had to audition to get in. So yeah, I mean, ever since, my formative years as a young adult into my career stage, I was around people who just obsessed about getting better and saturation in art and just doing whatever they could do in the medium and in the pursuit of their own betterment. And so he and his story have a lot of that in it. And I hope you guys come next week to hear it and enjoy. But on that note, I have a cake waiting for me that I'm going to eat. I am going to continue to work on all that I need to do, which is so much right now. So pray for me. Hope that I am able to keep it together and do all the things. I will be praying for all of you and be grateful for all of you, because without you, I mean, really, this would just be shouting in the dark. So I appreciate you all. God bless you. Thank you. Have a very powerful week. And next week we'll be back with Jake Meeks. All right, listeners. Bye.
Thanks for listening. You can find the Apprenticeship Diaries on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Our IG is _apprenticeship_diaries. If you would like to offer constructive criticism or an interview, drop us an email at theapprenticeshipdiaries@gmail.com. We look forward to hearing from our listeners.